But first, joining us now with reaction is the Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, why you had to say to them and remind them, why can't they acknowledge that they did abandon our fellow Americans? They abandoned hundreds. We don't have an exact number. At one point in the hearing today, one of the people testifying actually said it could be as high as 4,000. I don't know how many Americans were abandoned. I can't say. Then we abandoned green card holders. Then we abandoned their families. And we abandoned our Afghan allies, all behind enemy lines. And it's 45 days, Senator. You see a lot of hope getting them home?
You know, not based on what I'm hearing, Sean. And here's the real reason. Why won't they admit it? It's because they don't want to take any responsibility. General Milley doesn't want any responsibility. Austin doesn't want responsibility. And most of all, Joe Biden doesn't want to take any responsibility. But it's time that they did, which is why all those guys should resign. Milley needs to resign. Austin needs to resign. I mean, Milley, he's sitting here trading gossip with Bob Woodward while Afghanistan literally burns. Literally burns. The accountability's got to start right there. He needs to resign. Austin needs to resign. The president should fire him.
Well, you said that to Austin. Don't tell me we're not leaving Americans behind. Why did you have to remind him of that?
You know, it's just extraordinary that he would sit there and tell the committee, because what he said, Sean, is that we haven't left Americans behind. He said that. He's under oath. And he actually said that. You know what? It's a Joe Biden talking point. I mean, Joe Biden's White House has said that, oh, we didn't actually leave Americans behind. Guess what? We're not in Afghanistan. The American civilians still are. Many of our fellow citizens still there, still trapped, and they're denying it. The administration's denying it. It is just shameful. For that reason alone, Austin and Milley ought to resign.
Did we ever get an answer to a plan to try and rescue our fellow Americans that they abandoned? Is there any plan in place to try to get them out? Because the last time I heard from Tony Blinken, he actually said, if you have a chartered flight with Americans on it, you're not allowed to land in the United States. If you get a third-party country to accept your charter, that's fine. But if you need our approval, it will not be forthcoming. Why wouldn't we allow a plane chartered with American citizens on it to land in America to get them the hell out of that hellhole of Afghanistan run by terrorists?
I have no earthly idea, and you're absolutely right in terms of there not being a plan. If there is one, I didn't hear about it today. And here's the other thing, Sean. We also learned today that the reason all those Americans, our fellow citizens, got left behind is because Joe Biden waited too long to order an evacuation. He didn't have the guts to order an evacuation when there needed to be one. He allowed our military to draw down to zero with American civilians all still there. And when they needed to be evacuated, he wouldn't do it. He was worried about how it would look. And now here we are. Americans are left behind. He has abandoned them. 13 soldiers dead. That's Joe Biden's record.
Let me put up on the screen. You probably can't see it. I'll explain what it is. It's a map of Afghanistan from the southern portion. All those red sections, you can see the corresponding dates, May, June, and then July. In July, by the way, when Joe Biden was saying that the military is some of the best trained in the world, they had over 60% of the country. They've been on the march for months. And everybody knew it was happening. Joe never fired a single drone shot to push him back, and nor did he move up the date when we had control of Kabul to safely evacuate every American, every green card holder, every family member, and every Afghan ally. And it would have been nice if we took our billions of dollars in sophisticated weaponry with us as well, Senator.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You know, when Biden says stuff like, oh, nobody saw this coming, that is simply false. You can look right there at the facts that you put on the screen. The Taliban was in a major offensive beginning in the early spring. His own general on the ground warned Biden, that the Afghan government would fall. And yet Biden did nothing. He didn't order an evacuation. He didn't get American citizens out. He waited. He dithered. He didn't have the guts to do it when he should have done it. And now, because of that, we have Americans who are trapped behind enemy lines.
So Biden lied and Americans died. Fair? Biden lied and Americans are held hostage.
That's fair.
Okay. Senator, thank you.
That is a fact.
Let's talk